So we've got Witchgrinder frontman Travis Everett here on the line. How you going, Travis? Thanks heaps for spending some time to speak with us today.
You're welcome. Good.
Beautiful. Witchgrinder's had a huge couple of months. You've released a new film clip for BloodLust, announced a new album and tour, and supported ex-Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley, as well as Bam Margera from Jackass and Fuckface Unstoppable. Does it feel like things are really starting to take off for your band?
Yeah, things are going great at the moment. We couldn't be happier because we've just finished up recording. You know, we've just had a few good tours. The supports were great. I mean, Ace Frehley tour was just mind-blowing. Band was good fun, very crazy. Backstage antics and all that. Yeah, things are looking good at the moment. We're just really hoping to get the album out. We're just patiently sitting there.
Well, speaking of your album, you released, as I said before, you released your BloodLust video recently. I believe that premiered on Metal Hammer.
Yeah, Metal Hammer picked it up. We had we've got our manager working hard on a lot of promo over in the UK at the moment because we're thinking of touring over there some stage at the end of the year, early next year. So we're pumping as much as our music as we can over there as well as Australia. So yeah, it was good for Metal Hammer to pick it up because we got a lot of new likes and few fans from over there.
For sure. And so, what can you tell us about the video for BloodLust?
About the film clip?
Yeah.
We had a few ideas for it. The song, the actual, like, the whole idea of the vampires and all that was actually based to begin with because I had like a kind of dream about this film clip that I really, really wanted to do, which in the end we didn't actually get to do exactly what I wanted because I think what I was thinking was kind of like a $1 billion production type of clip. I wanted heaps of vampires and us eating groupies and all kinds of weird stuff. So in the end, we just had to go with a friend of ours because we were hitting deadline and we needed to get a song out and released. And that was the first one that obviously come to our mind because it sounds a bit like our older stuff. It's got a little bit of the new thrash element that we're adding to a lot of our new songs. We thought it kind of met the middle. So it wouldn't shock our old fans, but yet, it'd give them something new to kind of get the idea of where the album is gonna head. So yeah, no, it was good to get new music out. I mean, it had been a couple of years, so
Absolutely, and you can definitely hear the thrash elements coming through on it. So is that more of a sign of where you're heading, more in the thrash direction?
Yeah, our songs are a lot speeded up. I think the riffs are definitely a bit more complex than what we'd usually had. We just, we've always had big chunky riffs and a lot going on in our other stuff, but I think these are more thrash. We thought more of the older bands that we liked, like Metallica and Pantera and just all those kind of influences, and with the new, like sounds like with Rammstein and Rob Zombie, we still kind of wanted to keep all those, and Ministry and all those elements that we had on our first stuff, but we did want to mix it up with a bit of old school stuff, like with lots of soloing and all that. Also, we've got a new drummer. He's not new anymore. He's been with us for about 2 years now. But this is the first recording we've done with him, and he likes playing fast, and so when we sat down and first decided, well, where do we want to go from the last album? Because we don't want to obviously repeat ourselves, but in the same sense, we don't want to lose touch of what we've always had. It's kind of like if you've got a good recipe, you stick to it. But yeah, we discussed how we'd like to go about the album, and we all decided that it'd be fun to go a little bit faster than the older stuff and chuck a bit of thrash in there, which to me, you know, I obviously no one's really heard the album because we've kept it pretty hidden from the public. But yeah, I think we've done the right thing. I think it sounds great. It was a good idea.
Absolutely. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you recently stated that this album was collectively written by the band, whereas your last album, The Demon Calling, was written by just yourself?
Yeah, look, The Demon Calling did have... It was, you could say it was mostly written by me. I wrote all the riffs and structured it all with the drummer and the other boys. So they all did collaborate, but nothing like this album. You know what I mean? Like it was, yeah. The songs were practically written by me on The Demon Calling and our first EP, Through the Eyes of the Dead. Whereas this time when the album come through, you know, we kind of had to sit down, and I was more happy to kind of sit back and, you know, let everyone put in their input. It was just, you know, we kind of weren't going to go. I thought musically we probably wouldn't have evolved as much if I think I just had stuck to the way I wanted to write things. I mean, all those guys are great players. They're probably better than actually me. You know, and they've come up like the ideas that they come up with. I mean, it was scary at the start because I wasn't used to it. I think I got a bit, you know, I got a bit angry and snappy at them when we'd be in the studio or, you know, rehearsal rooms, or just even them bringing up ideas. I was kind of like, oh, you know, I don't like that, you know, but it was all just a part because it was new for me. Yeah. So I was a little bit weird at the start, but, you know, when we started putting the songs together, I realised where they were coming from, you know, it really opened me up to huge new things. And I thought, well, this is, you know, this really sounds great. Like, they really know what they're doing, and they knew what sound I kind of wanted, and, you know, they knew what they wanted to do. So giving them the freedom and all of us collaborating together, I mean, we all stuck to our parts, you know, like the drummer, you know, stuck to his parts, the bass player stuck to his, Potsy stuck to his stuff. Like, he still wrote all the solos and all that, but there was no kind of huge rules whether or what we couldn't do with the song or anything like that. I mean, everyone put their ideas on the table, and we just went with it. Like, we couldn't turn down an idea. We kind of had a rule where we weren't allowed to turn down anyone's idea until we all tried it. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we tried all, and then, yeah, if it, you know, obviously if it didn't sound very good, we'd have to we'd have to break it to them that it sounded like shit. But yeah, most decisions were really easily made on this. Like, we were all in the right headspace as we were writing it.
lyrically speaking? Was that you, or was that a collaborative effort as well?
No, lyrically, yeah, that was kind of all mine. I mean, you know, I'm a huge horror movie fan. I always have been, and the band's has always kind of been based on that. I never wanted to touch my, you know, personal feelings kind of on stage. I've done that before in a band, and it gets a bit much for me depending on how deep I go with it. With Witchgrinder, it's more of a kind of party, you know what I mean? So I like just telling, you know, old horror stories and, you know, getting with that. So yeah, most of that, like all the lyrics were written by me, but I mean, I did throw it past them, you know, the song titles before I start. Like I usually come up with a song title to start with, and a topic, before I start putting the pen to paper and getting all the lyrics down. So they all know what I'm going to write the song about. I kind of throw it past them and say, oh, well, what do you think of this? And they're usually, yeah, cool, because I don't think they enjoy writing lyrics at all. I mean, they hum melodies and say, oh, could you try it like this? You know, could you maybe, you know, whisper this bit or a bit more, or could you sing in this part, you know? And I took all that in. Like, it's on this new album, like, I wouldn't say so much like, you know, real singing, but I've definitely vocally branched out from what I've done on the previous albums. Like, there is a lot more kind of melodic parts in pieces, and, you know, there's death metal in pieces, there's black metal kind of singing, there's just, you know, your standard kind of heavy roars and stuff like that. But yeah, I really experimented a lot on this album with the way I went about the vocals.
Is that you're more confident in your abilities now, or was it what the music called for?
I think it was more. You know, I'd sung a lot in the past in previous bands and all that, and I think there was just some parts that it just suited. Like, when I was writing it, I kind of felt a little bit weird at the start because I was so used to, you know, because the last 4 or 5 years, I'm not even sure how long we've been together at the moment, 2010. Yeah, 5 years, or 4.5 years. You know, we kind of, at the start, we had this rule where we didn't really want singing, we just wanted angry vocals. But I mean, with this album, like, it's spooky. I mean, the riffs, you know, there's some places where the riffs go where it gets really, really kind of creepy, and, you know, singing over some of that stuff really worked. Like, it you know, it was kind of, it just made sense to do it. So, you know,
sure.
It was not something we really talked about. It was just something that, you know, I'd say, oh, well, what do you think of this? Or they'd say, why don't you try, you know, singing a little bit over this part? And then when we done it and we listened back to, you know, either a version of me, you know, pumping it out as hard as I could, or the singing. I mean, it's still got, when I say singing, it's still got that, you know, grunt in it. Like, I'm not singing kind of opera or anything like that over it. But yeah, I definitely think, yeah, it was more just the songs, just where they went. Wasn't really overly thought about. It was just what sounded best.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I found really interesting, just sort of in the brief bit of research which I could find about this album, was that excuse me, each of your members have gone to different people to record their different instruments. What made you decide to do that?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
Well, yeah, well, I don't think we'd even heard of people doing it like that. It was more when we were demoing it, the album, writing. The guitarist was, you know, recording his tracks at home. The drummer was just at home, just using like his drumming program. You know, I was demoing vocals in my room, and the bass player was doing it at his house. And we kind of found that, because we already knew the songs and we've been jamming them out, everyone was concentrating on their own sound a lot, and then we were bringing it back together, even on, this is just on the demos, and we were getting really good tones. Like, you know, we were kind of starting to work, like, then we'd send it back and be going, oh, you know, that sounds cool, you should try this with your tone. Even though it was a demo, we started getting very picky about it, how we wanted our instruments to sound. And then in the end, we were like, you know, why go into a studio and spend all this money when we can go to our mates, you know, who obviously have better equipment and stuff like that, rather than us doing it all by ourselves, but people who we actually, you know, like their sound, who they're getting, you know, they go to like, and listen to, and see how we can get it all put together. So we started recording like it. It was just an idea at the start. We weren't sure whether we'd go just all into a studio and pump it out that way, or we'd do it this way. But we started doing it, and it sounded really good. Like when we started putting it all together, because we knew the songs that well, and we all knew what we wanted. And we knew that it worked because of these demos. You know, and we all went to our own person who pushed us in our own way, and I think that made us all a lot more comfortable, as in we weren't forced to work with, you know, someone who, you know, maybe I knew and the other guys didn't know as well, or anything like that. There was no huge pressure on anyone, and I think that you kind of hear that on the album. Like it's you know, you can tell it's not forced. It's you know, everyone's feeling comfortable, and you know, it just rocks. Like I went and done my vocals with Dana from Sidonia.
All right.
You know, he sings completely different to what I done, but I mean, he helped kind of produce some of the stuff, like especially how I was talking to you about the singing stuff. Like he's you know, he's an amazing singer. So sitting up with him and hearing some of his ideas when I'd be there was you know, really inspired and motivated me to try these different things, you know. So yeah, I think the way that we did it, like, yeah, it was definitely weird. Like I'm not sure if I know any band that's done it. Like I'm supposing some bands do it that way, but yeah, I hadn't really heard or looked into it. We just kind of, you know, we saved a lot of money doing it this way, and you know, it turned out really good. Like it sounds amazing.
It's a fantastic concept. So, I was going to ask if you're happy with the end result, but you certainly are by the sounds of it. I think we're all looking.
Yeah, I think so. It's still getting mixed at the moment. Like, you know, it's not far off. Like it's pretty much done, and you know, then the master just has to come through. Which only the guy that we got mastering, you know, is a genius. He'll have it done, mastered in a couple of days. But the next week or two is just finishing up on final touches in the mix. But from what I can tell, like, yeah, you know, it's very fast, evil. You know, it's got everything that I like in music in it. So I'm not too nervous about this release. I mean, the Demon Calling, I was a little bit like, I wasn't sure because of the EP that we'd put out before, whether, you know, we stuck to what our fans were into. I think this one, it's definitely going to touch, like, you know, fans are going to be excited about it because we haven't strayed too much away from it. But I also think it's going to open us up to a lot of a new crowd because of the thrash element and the heavier element. Brilliant.
Well, you have a really good chance to discover that new fan base in August when you do your Australian tour. Do you have anything special in store for that?
Well, kind of. We always have something kind of up our sleeves with a tour. Like, there's never something that we won't try different on the road, because we don't want to repeat the same show. I mean, especially in Australia, like, you know, where people can see us often. We like to try different things. It just depends on which venues and what we can get away with doing.
Yeah.
Really, but yeah, we've definitely got some different things to the set, and I mean, of course, it'll be our first time on the road playing these new songs, so, you know, fingers crossed we're not messing them up. We can't wait, man. Like I said, we haven't really toured or done much this year apart from the supports. Like, you know, I mean, the Ace Frehley tour was great, but, you know, I mean, we were playing to a bunch of, you know, Kiss Army fans and stuff like that, which wasn't really our crowd. But I mean, you know, we still done well, and we won them all over and all that. But you know, the Band Majera support, that was good. You know, that was a crowd for us that, you know, enjoyed our music that necessarily wouldn't come out to a show. So we made, you know, more fans there. But this is kind of going to be the first tour where we're going out, you know, just to pump out to our new stuff to our own fans. So, you know, we're really looking forward to that, because we love being on the road. So
awesome. You briefly mentioned before that you're thinking of heading over to Europe. Do you have anything set in stone for that, or is that just something that you're watching?
It's still all getting discussed at the moment. Yeah, there's not too much I can kind of really say about that at the moment, but it definitely will be happening. Like, we're at the stage now where we're on our second album. We've toured Australia constantly. Like, you know, we've done, like, you know, usually 3 to 4 tours a year, you know, for God knows why. But we play a lot. And now we're hitting the stage where we're like, we know we can come and play, you know, do a tour of Australia, and we've got our fans. They're all going to come out to our shows, you know, and we can have a big break from playing and head overseas and do our stuff over there and come back, and, you know, these people are still going to be hanging around and ready to listen. So, you know, we have to branch out. We can't be stuck, you know.
Yeah.
Australia's you know, a great place to play, but, you know, it's there's a whole big world out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so.
Sure. Beautiful. And just to finish up, what do you think has been the key to your success so far, and how do you plan on building on it?
Key to success. I'm really not sure about that. I don't know how far we've succeeded. I mean, I'm very happy with the way the band is at the moment. You know, it's been really hard work. Like, I can't tell anyone that it's been easy, like, because it's definitely not. Like, anyone who plays in a band knows how hard it is. Like, money-wise, there's so much money, there's so much time. You miss out on things like, you know, friends' birthdays, or, you know, weddings, or, you know, whatever, you know, especially because we're getting a bit older, you know, there's lots of things that we kind of miss out on, and, you know, or don't have money to go travel. It's always, you know, traveling with the band and all stuff like that. But, you know, I love every minute of it. So I think the key to it is just to keep at it, as long as you're still enjoying what you're doing. Like, you know, there's rough times and there's good, you know, but then it always kind of comes out good. Like, so, you know, you'd be sitting there 1 second thinking, oh, why am I doing this, you know? Am I happy doing this? And then, you know, something good just comes along and you're like, oh, this is why I do it, you know?
Well, thanks very much for your time, Travis, and for being Painkiller Booking and Promotions Band of the Month.
Thank you guys.
No worries at all. Good luck with the new album, and yeah, we can't wait to seeing you on the road.